We are Anka. Stay tuned for updated real news.
Hello Anka Daily News viewers. We're back again to bring you the latest developments. The agenda of the Russia-Ukraine war is constantly changing, but recent events indicate that the conflict has moved to a new dimension. Since the beginning of the war, both countries have paid a heavy price, but recent attacks have created a fire in Russia. In particular, the attacks on Russia's border regions have created great panic and tension in the country. As public anxiety grows, Russia's weaknesses in security measures are being exposed. How this situation increases the pressure on Russian leader Vladimir Putin is being carefully monitored. According to the latest information, growing concerns about border security in Russia may result in the public preparing to voice its reaction more loudly. Following these developments, it's stated that the Russian public has started to question the policies of the administration more. In addition, these weaknesses in border security are causing serious frustration in some segments of the country. The fact that the security gap is so obvious has caused concerns not only in the border regions, but also in the interior of Russia. The increasing number of attacks, especially in recent days, and the air of fear these attacks have created in the country once again reveal the importance of the steps to be taken by the Russian administration. There are many question marks about how Moscow will handle this problem and what kind of measures it will take against the public reaction. The growing tension in Russia's border regions has caused serious unrest in the country, and this tense atmosphere further increases uncertainties about what might happen in the future. Will the Russian government be able to regain public trust by taking new steps on border security? Or will the public's trust in the government continue to erode as border violations continue? Let's take a look together. Before we get into our report, though, a quick reminder. The Anka Daily News team is definitely real. None of my team members or me are artificial intelligence. Even though AI is extremely advanced, it's still not as good as us. By the way, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our daily reports and explanations. We do read all the comments you leave on our videos, so please continue to share your ideas about our content. Tell us in the comments what content you'd like to see on the Anka Daily News channel. And now let us begin if you're ready. Anka Daily News reports. As Ukraine's attacks on the Russian border gain momentum, anxiety and tension prevail in some parts of Russia. Nighttime drone strikes have caused fires in the border regions, causing anger and anxiety among the Russian people. The fire and damaged buildings in the Kursk region increase the security concerns of the people. The recent attack on the Zheleznogorsk settlement in Russia's Kursk region has been widely reported both on social media and in local news. In the videos shared on social media platforms, it's seen that flames are rising in the fire zone and a large area around the damaged buildings has been destroyed. Kursk Oblast Regional Governor Alexei Smirnov stated that the fire broke out after a drone attack and fire brigades were dispatched to the scene. According to Smirnov, a playground and several vehicles in the Zheleznogorsk area were also damaged. Although fire drones were said to have been shot down, the attack has reopened the debate about security weaknesses in the region. Attacks on this region, which is only 90 kilometers from the border, are seen as a reflection of Ukraine's strategy to increase pressure on the borderline. At a time of increasing threats to Russia's security, Ukraine's sudden attacks on the border region continue to shake the agenda in many parts of Russia. Ukraine's attacks have damaged not only military but also civilian areas in Russia's Kursk region. Damage to a playground in the region and fires around civilian buildings are causing fear and anxiety among the population. The Kursk region, which also came under the spotlight in March when a fuel depot was targeted, has again faced attacks by Ukrainian drones. These incidents bring to the fore the need for Russia to take more measures in border security. These attacks on the borders also increase the pressure on Russian President Vladimir Putin. The increasing number of drone attacks, especially in the border regions, has led some in the country to question Putin's war strategy. Following these attacks, the wave of reaction among citizens living in Russia has started to rise rapidly. Especially people living in the border regions want the state to take more responsibility for security measures. Following the fires in the Kursk region and Ukraine's attacks on the border regions, criticism of insufficient security measures is on the rise. Some citizens believe that Putin's operations against Ukraine are increasingly creating unrest within the country's borders. The testimony of a Russian citizen strikingly illustrates the impact of the event on the population. I have lived in Kursk all my life. When the war started, I believed that Putin would provide us with a safe future, but now things have changed. The fire in Zheleznogorsk affected me and my family deeply. Everyone was terrified that night. This is not something that happens only once. These days we live in constant anxiety. I am very angry that the state cannot protect our borders. Putin's promises are no longer convincing to me. Shouldn't we feel safe in our own country? The increasing number of attacks in the southeast of Russia has caused widespread fear among the population. In particular, the recent drone attack on special forces in Chechnya shows that security weaknesses are not limited to the border regions. Chechen leader Ramzan Kadyrov announced that drones had struck the Special Forces University that Vladimir Putin visited 2 months ago. The fire that broke out on the roof of an empty building on the grounds of the Russian Special Forces University in Gudermes showed that attacks can take place even in interior regions such as Chechnya. Kadyrov stated that this was not an act of negligence, but an attack, and emphasized that security measures in the region were insufficient. Ukraine's eastward advance and the attacks on the Kursk region created the impression that the Russian military is struggling with border security. Ukrainian forces loyal to Vladimir Zelensky launched a sudden offensive against Kursk in August, allowing them to take control of an area of about 250 square kilometers. But this expansion has also triggered bombardments of Russia's eastern region, raising security concerns. By targeting vulnerable points in Russia's interior, Ukraine's offensive strategy further calls into question the country's defense mechanism. As public support for Putin's long-running Ukrainian operations wane, the growing security problems and repeated attacks are further fueling the anger of the Russian people. Ukraine's military pressure is perceived as a threat not only on the border, but also in the Russian interior. All eyes are now on how Russia will strategize against these attacks and what steps Vladimir Putin will take to regain the trust of his people. Recent developments make it clear that Vladimir Putin's border security measures need to be reconsidered. So, what do you think? Do you think the Russian people can take it anymore? Is there a possibility of a mass uprising? Let us know in the comments. We read and care about your opinions.